Hey everyone. What does Tombstone, True Grit, and some of the best monster movies in Hollywood have in common with us today?
They're old.
Wow.
They're old.
They're all themes of today's review.
Oh, okay.
Western style horror. Today we're going to be talking about Deadlands 20th Anniversary Edition.
Nice. I'm going to be asking some questions just to get a more fine-grained understanding of the game, explain to you how the game works a little bit, and tell you about the world, and learn a little bit more about Deadlands. So I guess the first thing is kind of what's your elevator pitch for the game? Like if I have hey, 2 minutes, sell me on this game. What's cool? Tell me about it.
What's cool about Deadlands? What isn't cool about Deadlands? You honestly get to play in probably one of the greatest time periods in North American history. You're playing in the Wild West, so there's a lot of high drama, there's a lot of flair, there's a lot of tension, and a lot of things too is the Civil War hasn't ended yet either. So you're playing an alternate reality of our reality. And with Deadlands, it kind of is this giant melting pot of different cultures, different aspects that you take in a world, but you're still playing in a very familiar world.
So I know like in Deadlands, the setting has been referred to as the Weird West. So I know what makes it West, the time set, the time period, and where it's located. Where does the weird part factor in?
Well, that's a good question, Brian. The Weird West is made up of different aspects of history, mythology, and folklore from the Native Americans all the way up through Europe, not modern Europe, Europe. So you're dealing with, specifically the big bad is the Manitou. They are these evil spirits that are basically from hell, and a rift has opened up in the world. War is continuous, their influence is great, and this was all caused by an old ritual that just happened to suck in the most powerful shamans into hell and kind of unleash this evil unto the world. There's, of course, your classic villains, whether it be, the guy who owns the ranch 10 miles away who's trying to rustle your cattle or your horses. There's desperados, there's good lawmen, there's bad lawmen. It's everything in between, and that's what Deadlands is. Deadlands is as I said earlier, it's a melting pot of a lot of different things. A lot of horror elements, a lot of Western elements. The system is fantastic. Character creation is amazing. For character creation, at the start, a player will flip over 13 cards. So you did your 2 lowest, but you have to keep your 2s. Yes, so the cards have different values to them. For example, the spade is at the highest value. This is spades, you get a rank of 4 in. In hearts, you have a rank of 3. In clubs, diamonds, you have a rank of 2, and then clubs is your lowest one, which is a rank of 1. Then each one of these has a different set value. Now, you see that we have all 5 dice set out in front of us here. You don't use all 5 dice in the game except for certain circumstances. So for characters in that, you're going to be using a D12 to a D4. Some of your weapons will use a D20. Our producer is just reminding us that dynamite is the D20 weapon. And our producer was in one of my games, and he completely hosed me because I forgot that he had dynamite. And now, it's 3D20 per stick. per stick. Not like 3d20 for all of it. It's per stick. So yeah, he blew my camp apart. Not happy. However, that is, for the most part, that is character creation. The other part is, as I was mentioning, involving the deck of cards, is magic. Now, magic is used by, of course, different beings of the outer realm, and also a class type called Hucksters. Hucksters are your... I like to think of them as a rogue class, if I were to really kind of describe them. They aren't your typical... they're your typical magic user.
Not like other magic users.
Yeah, no, they're not. They are not at all. They have this whole dynamic to themselves, and between the old edition and new edition, they changed just slightly. They cleaned up how a huckster works and that, which was really good, because in the old edition, hucksters were kind of powerful. Don't get me wrong, their power level wasn't changed. It was just how certain things happened. So a huckster, for example, they would make a rule. I don't remember the specific rule. It is, so they have to deal themselves a hand of cards, and they have to make the best possible hand. So, for example...
Best possible, like poker hand? Or
yeah, it's the best possible poker hand. And that poker hand, the highest that I've ever seen a player get their poker hand was up to 9 cards. So we'll just deal out 9 cards just for this purpose here. And you ditch these 4 cards, and I've made a full house. So based on what spell you're using will tell you what the effect of that spell is based on your hand. So
in your playthroughs of Deadlands, what are some memorable experiences that you've had, or it was like, oh yeah, this is a time when I had to give my players a black chip because it's too often they pass up? Another one of the characters in a previous campaign, my player was playing this debutante bounty hunter who was just so in love with their horses that there was a guilty pleasure whenever I could be like, yeah, your horses can't come into the hotel with you. They have to be 2 miles away or something like that. And 9 times out of 10, the player would just, they'd always want to be with the horses. They always want to stay in the stable or something like that. There was this bond. And that was the thing. Because the campaign was so long, that the other people who came in and that were really like, these are new people you meet on your travels, on your roads, etc. Them messing with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka Mormons, and well, let me just put it this way. If you're going to go after someone, specifically the leader of the Mormon Church, because they turned out to be a possessed demon who is like hell-bent to control the world, you probably need more than your 6-shooter. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. And then there was this great campaign where they disappeared for 2 years, and they went to literally the pits of hell. They came back unconscious in the Grand Canyon and couldn't figure out what happened. And it was very simple. Time doesn't exist the same way in hell as it does in the real world. So what happened down there may have been minutes for you, but it was years up here. And I think only advancing at 2 years was kind of a safe thing, because the little kid in the party finally got to be 16 years old. Oh, nice. And that kid, and there are some stories about him. So we can save those for
we can save those for another video. But I have so many great memories of playing this game, and the system is fun. Sometimes it can be a little bit wonky. Other times it runs so smoothly. You're just gonna, if you love Westerns, if you love horror movies, if you just love like the general aspect and feel of it, then Deadlands is probably one of the best, if not the best, spaghetti Western.
Spaghetti monster Western.
Spaghetti monster Western,
Spaghetti
yeah.
monster Western.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure if I could introduce Cthulhu in here, I probably would. But who knows? Anyways, that's Deadlands. Deadlands is amazing. It's fun, and everyone should play it.
All right.
If not, if you're not, at least play it once.
Mhm.
That's all I'm asking. Play it once. Have fun with it.
Has the Richard seal of approval.
It does.
Deadlands. All right. Cool.
All right. So, I guess I will see you in the next video. And we'll see you soon.